Ordinarily, I do football vlogs. This is slightly different, although it is a story of a football match that I attended on the 24th of February 2016, 6 years ago to the day that I'm recording this. And the reason I'm posting this now, because it's never appeared on the YouTube channel before, it was before the channel was actually launched, is because it was a trip to Ukraine, to Kyiv, Dynamo Kyiv, against Manchester City. City won 3-1 for the record. But this was a very emotional trip for me. My father-in-law, as you will find out in the video, was Ukrainian. And I've cut out quite a lot of the football stuff, in fact almost all of it, but left in the story of the country a little bit and some of the students that I met out there, and also one of the protesters in Freedom Square. And by the way, it's called Ukraine, not the Ukraine. That's what the Russians call it. So I thought this might serve as a little bit of information for people who maybe are bamboozled by what's going on out there, and I don't profess to be an expert at all, but this just gives a little insight from actual Ukrainian people as to what they think about their country and their relationship with Russia. I hope you find it interesting, and I hope you understand that this is very personal to me.
My father-in-law, Andrei Wozny, was a very proud Ukrainian, but as a young man from a village called Kutcha, which is relatively near to the city of Lviv, he was forced to flee from the invading Russian and Nazi armies, leaving his family behind. Can you imagine the hard life that they endured, and still do to a certain extent today? But he, like many other men of his age and at that time, escaped death at the hands of the invaders by becoming refugees, never to return again to the homeland, at least until the Iron Curtain fell many, many years later. Eventually, he married again. My wife is one of his 3 daughters. 2 here in England, 1 back in Ukraine. As you can imagine, visiting his homeland, Kiev's Independence Square, with the pro-Ukrainian protesters and the history of various people who lost their lives battling for that, also visiting the museum reflecting on the Russian and Nazi invasions below the Statue of Victory, and even eating the local food, which he introduced me to, like beetroot soup, borscht, potato dumplings, pyrrhee, was very emotional. I chatted to Ukrainian students about how they felt about modern Ukraine. And of course I chatted to dedicated City fans who made the long journey at short notice to watch the Blues win 3-1. As you watch this video, hear these voices, see these images, I hope the story explains just a little bit more about Ukraine, its people, my father-in-law Andrei, who never stopped being Ukrainian.
So what language do you speak as a first language?
I speak, my first language which I speak, it's Russian, because my parents, they're Russian, and my grandmothers and grandfathers, they're Russian too. But I'm very proud that I'm Ukrainian. I was born in the independence Ukrainian after when USSR collapsed, and I know Ukrainian language, and they both like native language to me. So I'm very proud about this, and I'm very proud about what people do in Independence Square. So for me it's very cool, because people fight for their independence in what they believe. But yeah, we know that now it's happens not good things, and I believe in the good in the future, that maybe everything will be very great, and we will to get what we want in the real life. We will get maybe better government and better future.
Is that how you feel?
I speak Ukrainian. My first language is Ukrainian, and I didn't have anything against the Russian language. And what I'm feeling about what?
Well, I'm curious to know. You know, you've just told me that you speak Russian and you've got Russian family, but this country seems a little bit mixed up to me. If you go to the west of Ukraine, where I've got family, then they absolutely speak Ukrainian. They don't like Russia, they don't like the Russian influence. And then I come to Kiev, which is the capital city of Ukraine, and I find that people here, 2/3 I was told, speak Russian as the first language. And further east, of course, there's the conflicts. So it feels a very strange country to me at the moment that doesn't maybe know its own identity. Is that fair?
Actually, my real father is from Russia, and my mother is Ukrainian. And we, in our family, we didn't have anything.
No problems.
No problems. But actually, my father is escaped when I was young, because he took part in Afghanistan war, and my mother recognizes that it's not good for her and for our future. I am from Uzhgorod, and we have maybe a society in Uzhgorod divided into people who speak Ukrainian, Russian, and Hungary, and Slovakian, and we live in one space. It's multicultural space, and we can speak even in one conversation in 3 languages. And all the
But in there,
not understanding.
what's in there? What country?
Ukraine,
Ukrainian.
yes.
And can I ask you two?
Of course.
You've asked me about this place and what we think of it. What do you think of this place? Is this central to the personality of Ukrainians?
No.
No.
No. The center of personality, identity of the Ukrainians is Maidan Square. Now, Maidan Square.
You're talking about what we call Independence
Yes,
Square.
our independence meanings, the same main meanings are replaced from this place to the main square of Kyiv. And my first language was Russian, and my second language is Ukrainian. I born in Kyiv, and my family born in Kyiv. My ancestors were born in Kyiv, and it's normal that we can speak in 2 languages. I'm proud that I'm Ukrainian, but I have a Jewish ancestor, and I'm Jewish in Ukrainian, and it's normal. It's good for me. I live in multicultural space, and it's normal. I believe in nationalist politic nations, and I'm proud to be part of this. I think this process started a few years ago in the Maidan Square, and I believe that in future we will be a strong country, and it's the beginning of the very strong country. So.
And can I ask you one question? What does the statue mean to you? I mean, you know, what does it symbolise and what does it mean to you?
I should mention that I'm originally from western part of Ukraine as a Catholic. I'm from Kamyanets-Podilsky, and even though being from western part of Ukraine, my first language is Russian, second is Ukrainian, but I freely speak in those both. Speaking about that woman, I don't feel that she has some direct impact upon me, upon my family, and I feel honor for the previous поколение. Generation. And what I think is that so-called Maidan of previous generation is this memorial and this place when we're here. And our Maidan is on the Independence Square. This is what I think.
What does Maidan mean?
Square.
The square.
No, for me, no. Maidan is like has philosophical meaning, and it's something from when you have to forget about you as identity and to become a part of community, to do something in order to achieve some valuable goal in order to open a future, maybe in order for your children to be happier than you are or your parents were. I think it's all for the best, no matter how worst situation is now. This is what I think.
Can I add one more? About Maidan, that from that moment started our real independence history of Ukraine. So from that moment, people started to recognize that they are Ukrainian in which country they live and believe. and I think that Maidan became like a spiritual square to all of real Ukrainians who believe in that.
Okay, hello. My name is Svetlana. I am from Ukraine. I am staying in Maidan 2 years, 1 year before. I am soldier, army, and many of my friends died here before. I'm very kind before. I love my family. It's all my family, my friends. This is people won't stay here now. It's same my family, my friends. This is man. Here, stay there and help the people. And police station kill them. Police kill them. This is Alexander. He's like my father. He loved me. I loved him.
My father-in-law, Andrei Wozny, was Ukrainian. He grew up on the west of Ukraine. So for me to be here next to the Statue of Victory in Kiev, which is quite a symbol of the freedom of Ukraine, is quite special really. And my father-in-law used to find coins on the floor now and again, and whenever we find one we always think of him. And as I walked into this place I found this coin, this small coin on the floor, so you wonder whether he was thinking of me. But it's been a fascinating visit again, to come to a place like this and look at the tanks down there and look up at that statue and think of the great history and the battle for freedom which is still ongoing for this country. I'm here for football, of course, which is just for fun really, isn't it? But it makes you realise, you know, how serious it is for the people of Ukraine here, and just a fascinating place. And you might notice, by the way, that I've got a yellow shirt on and a blue top underneath, which are the colours of Ukraine.
Well, that was a very different video, wasn't it? A very different vlog. Thanks very much to the sponsors of my channel who support me in the work that I do, and good health and strength to Ukraine at the moment. And I suppose on behalf of all those people in Ukraine right now, it's great to be a Ukrainian, isn't it?